Good evening, everyone. Fred Shropshire here with WCNC Charlotte, joined by my colleague and WCNC Charlotte defender, Alex Shabad. Good to see you, Alex.
Good seeing you, Fred. We're using different technology, right, these days?
Yeah, we use everything we can to stay up and communicate with each other and also bring our viewers the latest on everything that we're covering. And I know that you have been working on a story that we're going to air tonight at our 11 o'clock newscast. And it's something that I think, you know, if it hasn't happened to you, thank goodness, but you know probably someone who this has happened to, and maybe not even a severe case as this, but you know, you talked to a woman who lost a couple of jobs in the process of this pandemic and the economy going south. Is that right?
That's exactly right. I mean, you know, Fred, we've all seen the stories we've been putting on the air where one person after another is struggling with their unemployment benefits. And a lot of time we'll highlight someone who's lost one job. But in this case, we talked to a woman. I mean, she didn't just lose one job. She went into 2020 thinking she was pretty good because she had two jobs. She had a full-time job as an IT contractor and a part-time job as a hostess. So she felt pretty financially secure, but starting off the year in January, unrelated to the pandemic, she lost her IT contractor job. They just didn't renew the contract for the company she was working for, her services. So she filed for regular unemployment benefits even before all this happened. Well, then come March, she was denied those benefits, and it came at the same time that she was lost her second job as a hostess, because this was around the time you remember when the governor ordered everything to shut down, and she was working at a local restaurant. And so her restaurant started doing layoffs. So she said that was just an unbelievably horrible day, as you can imagine. She learns that she was denied on her first unemployment claim because of, she said, an error on her application. And around the same exact time, she loses her second job. So in a matter of months, she's gone from having two jobs to zero jobs. And at that point, she had already been denied for the regular benefits because this was before, you know, she applied before the pandemic. Now she was applying for, you may have heard it, if anyone out there has been following the story, called the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, basically for people who've lost their jobs or impacted by the pandemic. So at that point, she applied for those benefits. That was in April, about a month after she lost her job. She said there were some technical problems with the website that took about a month before she could get on, which is unfortunately not unusual from what other stories we're hearing. And ever since April, she was waiting months and months and months just to get an answer. She didn't even have an answer to her. There was no response, no final determination for months. So a few weeks ago, she contacted us and been talking with her. By the way, during this time, I should reverse a little bit. You know, as she's waiting for these benefits, she's really struggling. Month after month, it catches up with her. I mean, not having a job at this point, she's going, you know, a big chunk of the year without a job. And so she couldn't pay her rent payments, which, I mean, this is bringing to light another issue that's been a big topic in Mecklenburg County because evictions have resumed. Well, this woman says she was actually facing eviction at a point because of not being able to pay rent month after month. And so eventually she got into calling us. We've done stories before where obviously we've reached out to the state, and in a number of cases after people have been waiting months, they have gotten their benefits, you know, days or even a day after our story aired. So those are some of the struggles she's been going through, and you know, just a scary situation, not only losing one job, but two jobs, and then not knowing if she's going to have a roof over her head after that.
Yeah, it's a pretty common struggle based on what I'm seeing from some of the comments even rolling in from the folks who have joined us during this stream. There was Sherry Hunter who said she was closed down during the COVID. She says she's in the same situation. Christina Hamlet Coley says her husband lost his job and hasn't found one. She says we haven't paid our mortgage in 4 months.
Wow.
She says she really doesn't want to lose their home. And she's also, you know, to add insult to injury with everything going on. And I think every parent with children have the same thing going on. teaching 4 kids in her household under those circumstances. You did a story, one of several, but one that comes to mind when you're talking about eviction, where Sheriff McFadden came out and issued a challenge to some folks, and I believe he even put up some of his own money. Is that right?
Yeah, he made a challenge, and he was promising he would put up his own money. It was I was surprised, because we were just having a conversation about evictions in general, and then in the middle of our interview, the Sheriff McFadden had said, he was so concerned and really thought something needed to be done about the issue that he was challenging sheriffs throughout North Carolina to put up $1,000, and he said that if they were willing to do that, he would also be putting up his $1,000. And actually, what's interesting is after he did that, and we aired it on the story, I got multiple emails from not sheriffs, but regular people in the public wanting to help. And one of them told me he donated money to a local organization, $1,000 he told me he donated after hearing the sheriff's comments to a local organization to help people with evictions. So, I mean, it's obviously a major issue, and unemployment benefits clearly tied to whether someone can live, whether you could drive, whether you could pay your medical bills, whether you could have a roof over your head. These are as serious as any issues could be.
Yeah, I've got a couple of people here. Becky Thurman Woodruff just said that, let's see, these are rolling in. I'm facing eviction court next week. That's what she said. Some other folks saying, Latasha Pickens says we're not going to be able to work until next year. I guess that's just a statement based on everything that's going on with industries. And one person says, Stephen Booth says, I am hurting, lost my teaching job. I have a 7-year-old. You've done a number of stories. What kinds of other situations have you seen out there in regards to unemployment benefits?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a situation where, there was a woman who had been denied benefits. She worked for a child development center, and she thought it was really strange that she was denied, but all her coworkers were granted benefits from the same exact furlough. And the reason she was given by the state for being denied was that she didn't personally have COVID. And she said, well, I applied for the benefits because I was laid off because of the pandemic, not because I personally had COVID. And we got one of her coworkers. We talked to one of her coworkers who, came to her defense and basically said, yeah, I'm in the exact same situation as the other woman. And, why am I got benefits? It doesn't make any sense. She wouldn't. So after our story aired, days after our story aired, she started getting attention from the state, and they ultimately reversed their decision. And she got a lump sum of a good chunk of money after we did the story. And that's what we do here. That's one of our main commitments is this "Where's the Money" segment, and trying to highlight people who are really struggling out there and who may have been overlooked by the state. And there seems to be a lot based on our experience here.
Yeah, and I know that with this particular woman who lost both of her jobs, there's an interesting, I guess the big question that people might have is, okay, she's lost both of her jobs. She's had some issues with her claims with unemployment. What happens with eviction?
Yeah, that's the big question, obviously, and that's an issue facing landlords and tenants and throughout North Carolina and probably across the country, obviously. But in this case, she had multiple conversations with her landlord. She kept them in the loop about what she was going through, that she, had applied for unemployment and that she was waiting on benefits. And after a while, she said they were understanding. They knew what she was going through. But at a point, it went month after month. We're talking not hundreds, but it's getting into the thousands of dollars at this point. And, she said they understood the sensitivity of where she was coming from, but she, at the same time, they're running a business. And she said she ultimately did make it on the eviction list and had a very, her time to pay was narrowing, her window to pay. And so you can imagine how scary that is for someone.
So she's behind several months, doesn't have 2 jobs, and she's on the eviction list. We're going to air that story tonight at 11 on our newscast on WCNC Charlotte. So make sure you tune in to our latest Where's the Money story with our WCNC Charlotte defenders, Alex Shabad, with the report on that woman and the line of communications that's necessary to keep with your landlord during a situation like this. You'll definitely want to watch that story because I think there's something that all of us can learn from it. Alex, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing the story this evening, and thank everyone else out there for watching us. Make sure you tune in tonight at 11.
Thanks, Fred. Good talking to you.